short, got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers. Go.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
And now, Mike's thoughts.
Sometimes the NFL rules are there in black and white. Sometimes it is clear as day. Sometimes when you open up the rule book and it states this: when a quarterback drops to their knees or simulates dropping to their knee behind the line of scrimmage, the ball is dead and the play is down and the play is over. So, when you read that rule, when you hear that rule, when the quarterback drops to their knee or simulates dropping to their knee behind the line of scrimmage, the ball is dead and the down ends. When you hear that and then you see Jared Goff take a step and then go to his knees, what do you expect to happen? What do you expect to happen? You expect the play to be dead. You expect the referees to blow the whistle. You expect everybody to just kind of give up. But that is not what happened on Thursday Night Football. That is not what happened on Thursday Night Football. Jared Goff says hike. He turns. He takes a knee. Then he proceeds to hand the ball off to his running back. And then at that particular time, the Detroit Lions offensive line blows the Green Bay Packers 7-8 yards off of the ball, giving the Detroit Lions a chance to get a game-winning field goal from about 30 yards away. Now, you can call me a troll. You can call me a clown. You can tell me that I don't know the rules, but the rules are pretty clear, black and white. When a quarterback drops to his knees or simulates dropping it to the knees behind the line of scrimmage, the ball is dead. So guys, let me ask you this question. Yes, no answers in the comments below. Is Jared Goff a quarterback? The answer to that question is yes. Did Jared Goff say hike and take a step backwards, so therefore he is behind the line of scrimmage? Did he take a knee? The answer is yes. Did he then proceed to hand the ball off to, I believe it was Montgomery? Yes, he did. Should that play, by default, should have been blown dead? Yes, it should have. It should have, and the play should have been over. The Detroit Lions should have lost the ball on downs. The Green Bay Packers then should have had the ball back at their 40 with about 45 seconds left, 35 seconds left on the clock. So to say that the referees did not take away the game from the Green Bay Packers, I'm calling you a liar. To say that the referees did not abide by the rules that are written here in plain black and white, I'm going to call you a liar. So to say that the Green Bay Packers should have won that game, that is 100% facts. To say that the Green Bay Packers got rigged, got screwed by the referees, that is 100% facts. Now, I understand, he got tripped, he got this, he got that. How does the Green Bay Packers know that he got tripped or stopped? The only thing he saw was Jared Goff go to a knee. The Green Bay Packers saw the quarterback behind the line of scrimmage going down to a knee. So how are they to know that he got tripped or he got stepped on? The point of the matter is, guys, the Green Bay Packers got screwed. The Detroit Lions survived to win another day. They get the, quote, Kansas City Chiefs treatment. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw, steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off, get it hype. This man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman, everybody bringing heat. You don't really wanna try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest, nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Let's go. What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckheit here with the Man Hour Show of manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise Discord. Check out the blog section. And most importantly, check out our Discord. The Discord is in the link below. If you guys like to watch NFL teams, but you are a fan of the Jacksonville Jaguars, you're a fan of the Tennessee Titans, or you're a fan of the San Francisco 49ers, and they're not on TV, head over to our Discord as we stream 2 games on 1 o'clock, 2 games at 4 o'clock, and of course the Sunday night game and Monday night footballs and Thursday night footballs as well. So head over to discord.com, check it out. We got a great show for you guys lined up tonight. Friday night edition. We're starting a little bit late because Little Man had basketball, and plus we got bunked by the Big S Sports Radio. So it is what it is. We got a little basketball happening in Southern Indiana, and basketball is king over here. But we do got to talk about the Detroit Lions, about how great the Detroit Lions are. We got to talk about how great they are, and we got to talk about how great they are. We're also going to talk about how great the Green Bay Packers are too, how dangerous the Green Bay Packers are, and then of course we got a little bit of fact, mix in a little bit of crap. We're going to talk about tanking in the NFL. Is tanking in the NFL A-okay? Is that hey-okay? But before we get too carried away, we got to welcome some people in the chat. We gotta welcome some people in the chat, like the pigskin pundit herself, Mrs. Laura Johnson Harris in the chat. What's up, Laura? Hope you're having a grand old day. We also got the CEO of the pigskin pundit, Mr. Jim Powell, saying supper's always good, especially when I got a little porterhouse and a little bit of ribeye and a little bit of ramen noodles. And he says, no, ramen noodles are poison. What's up, Jim? I'm glad you are part of the Pigskin Pundit crew. Got my man Mark D in the chat today as well. What's up, Mark? Mark is over there in Denver, Colorado, living life, going to Monday Night Football games, going to the Nuggets game, and now he might even go to a hockey game. Who knows? Mark is the talk of the town over there in Denver. Glad to see you tonight, Mark. Glad to see you tonight. Jim Powell says, golf gets them a home treatment for one night. Now it's like Hitler running for a Statue of Liberty. Slow it down, baby. Slow it down. And he says, my Casey homerness is coming out. Now, honestly, guys, I was 100% trolling. I was 100% trolling there, but he definitely did get tripped and stumbled and did handed the ball off. I was just trying to feed into the ego of the Green Bay Packers fans a little bit because they think they got Jude out of a lot of calls last night. They think the referees took that a win from them. They think that the Detroit Lions were getting the Kansas City referee treatment last night. So I had to play into it. And CZ6Z Nasty says this guy has some issues. Now, I was simply just trolling there, buddy. Simply there just trolling, feeding into those haters, as they like to say. But I am going to clip that section. I'm going to post it as soon as the show is over because I think I'm due for a midnight upload. And bada bing, bada boom, it is going to blow up. It is going to blow up. So all the people that are listening here right now, Jay, Junis, James, Jim, Debunk the Junkie, all you guys that are listening, when I post that clip, I'm going to title it, "The Referees Screw the Green Bay Packers" type thing. It is going to be very clickbaity material, and I want to see how many people actually watch the video and see what they say, because I'm going to edit it at the very end like, ha ha ha, just kidding, right? But yeah, I mean, guys, let's just be honest. The Detroit Lions came out firing on all cylinders in the first half. Third quarter, they come out of the halftime a little slow. Boom, boom, boom. 2 touchdowns, back-to-back touchdowns by the Green Bay Packers. And all of a sudden, we had ourselves a ball game. We had a great ball game. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. But we also welcome Debunk the Junk. One is in the chat. It says, you got to be a pretty bad player if you think the QB is taking knee on 4th down in the red zone. I told you, man. I was just playing into the trolls. But honestly, if you think about this, right? If you logically think about this, it was 4th and a half a yard, 4th and 1 yard maybe. Detroit Lions had 2 timeouts left at that time. They were very in Bates' field goal range. Bates is an amazing kicker. He might be the best kicker in the NFL right now. Him and Aubrey for the Dallas Cowboys might be rivaling for that greatest kicker in the NFL rank right now. They're definitely in his range. So I honestly expected them to basically try to make the Green Bay Packers jump off sides. And you can definitely tell that the Green Bay Packers were kind of back on the heels a little bit because they got blown off the ball. Like Penei Sewell picked up I don't know who it was, and they're having a conversation just like this, like, hey man, do you like those Doritos that I served you like halftime? Like it was absolutely crazy. It was absolutely crazy. But yeah, I was 100% trolling Jay. I was 100% trolling, man. But Jay says, Buck, going to tell us how the Lions cheated or got lucky or how picked up on defense can't get the job done. I'm sure he's somewhere in the Haterade Cup right now as we speak. Nah, man. I was going to give you all kind of praise. I was going to talk you guys up. I was saying, hey, the fifth string defensive line, or the fifth string defense for the Detroit Lions only gave up 31 points to high-flying Detroit Lions. I was going to say that. I was saying, hey, Jamal Adams played excellent last night, right? Or Thursday night. Was it last night? Yeah, Thursday night. My days are all scrambled up. Played great Thursday night. I was going to give you praise, Jay. But now, I got my man juice right here. Coming soon, by the way. Man juice coming soon. If you're a pigskin pundit, you know what I'm talking about. It's coming. I got the okay from the old lady. It's coming. But the Detroit Lions, we're going to talk about them, Jay. We're going to talk about your Detroit Lions. Slow it down, baby. Judas Howard's in the chat tonight as well. Judas says, yep, the refs screwed over the Packers with that call. Not calling St. Brown push-off or blow to the head on that double tackle. Come on, guys. Now, I understand there were missed calls last night. I understand it, Junis. I understand it, Jay. I understand it. Who else was ever watching the game? If you're rooting for one team or the other, there was blown calls both ways. Let's call a spade a spade. Referees are not very good right now. The replay system has broken the NFL referees. Let's call it what it is. If you don't think it's broken, you are a very, very biased individual. Me as a Kansas Chiefs fan, we get all the calls right now. We still get calls. We get blown calls too all the time. But the forearm to Jordan Love's head, that was a 100% missed call. I believe it was Jadarius Smith, right, that came off the edge, pretty much untouched. Big old forearm right to Jordan Love's head. Like Aziz, right? Aziz got a 3-game suspension putting a forearm to a head. I'm just calling a spade, right? I'm calling it how I see it. Now, I mean, the pick play, that was offensive pass interference, I believe, on Watson, it was clearly a pick. If you don't think it was a pick, you are a homer. You are 100% homer. I'm just saying. There were missed calls on both sides of the ball, but guys, we had a great football game. We had a great football game, and I was expecting a blowout. I was expecting the Detroit Lions to go out there and win 37-10, 37-17. I was not expecting a 3-point game. Now, the other guys on the Detroit Lions podcast that I am like a guest on every now and then, they were all saying 3-point game, 3-point game. And I believe Donnie actually got the score correctly right. I mean, I think he said 34-31. And that was the final score. Like, so Donnie, big shout out to like you, man. Like, I think he got it exactly right. But I was expecting a blowout. But let's continue to welcome people in the chat. We got my man James Frank in the chat. He says, can Jameis Winston and my 3-9 friends do something that hasn't been done before? I think Bernie Kosar and their QB swept the Steelers. Or are they going to play and stay close and lose with the tanking? Well, we are going to talk about about the Browns-Steelers game on Saturday. So Saturday night, so stay tuned for that, James. But I'm going to tell you that the Pittsburgh Steelers are not losing the Browns again. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to come out there versus the Cleveland Browns, James, and they're going to whoop their candy asses. I'm just saying. And he says, not friends, Browns. Browns. I've got some issues, says James. Jim says, Dan Campbell almost Dan Campbelled. Not wrong. I mean, it was crazy. Jay says, big shout out to Keon and Jamal Adams, just picked up for the defense. Yeah. Keon was off the practice squad, if I'm not mistaken. You guys actually signed him last week or 2 weeks ago, right? If I'm not mistaken. Jay, correct me if I'm wrong. But Jamal Adams literally got signed on Monday or Tuesday? Practice Wednesday, bada bing, bada boom. He was out there and he was a game changer. Like, yeah, Jamal Adams played great. Big shout out to him. Big shout out to keeping yourself ready, right? As they say, if you always stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Jamal Adams was ready. Mark D says, did you hear about the Lions fans that was doing the flag ceremony and started talking shit to LaFleur? I did not. I saw he was about to get in a fight, but I think it was like on the NFL memes page or something that they made it seem like it was like St. Brown and LaFleur were arguing. So I don't really read into that. I don't really read into that crap whatsoever, but yeah, it is what it is. James Frank says, I'm still praying for a Detroit versus Phillies NFC Championship game. That would be better than any Super Bowl. Maybe Detroit versus Buffalo would be dope too. And James, when we start talking about my rundown for today, we see that topic number 2, it says dangerous there. Dangerous. That is going to be a key right there. Stay tuned for that segment number 2. That is going to be your NFC Championship game. Watch out for that. And John says, whatever, hater. I'm not a hater, man. I'm not hating. I'm just trying to be a realist. I'm trying to make it so people see the different parts. Open your eyes, man. Open your eyes. My man David, Mr. Charger fans himself, is in the chat. It says, $10 Starbucks card on who wins Sunday? David, how about this? I will do you one better, David. Since you are a man of your word, and I like the way you is, right? How about this? If the Chiefs win on Sunday, David, Sunday Night Football, you become a Pigskin Pundit. Click on that subscribe button. If the Chargers win, I will send you a LA Chargers hoodie. How about that? Better than $10 Starbucks. So you become a $4.99 Pigskin Pundit. If the Chiefs win. If the Chargers win, I'll send you a LA Chargers hoodie. How about that? How about that? How about that? Get some man juice, pigskin pundits. What's up? What's up? What's up? Jay said, let's be honest with ourselves on the alleged St. Brown no call. Dude was talking mad shit earlier in the week. Just saying. Listen, I love rivalries. When we get into it, factor crap here later on the new division aspect, I love rivalries. I love that old George Pickens is talking shit to like Newsom, and like Newsom is like, you know, firing back. Oh, you ain't nothing but a fake gangster, right? I love the fact that Green Bay Packers hate the Detroit Lions. I love the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs hate the Las Vegas Raiders. I love the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles hate the Dallas Cowboys. Rivalries are the greatest thing in sports, period. Period. It doesn't matter if you are new to that team or if you just became a fan of that team last year. You are instantly embedded into the hatred, right? The culture sucks you in and you ultimately hate that team. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. John says, how many games do you think the refs have determined the winner? Speaking of spade to the spade, I don't know. I mean, me personally, John, I have grown up as a coach, as a player, to think that, to think that one call will not make or break the game, right? Now, obviously, fourth down play, you jump off sides, but you don't really jump off sides. But even though you're like 3 yards off, like offsides, D Ford versus Tom Brady AFC Championship game, but we digress. Like one play, one call should not change the outcome of a whole game. You should put yourself in a better position to make it so one call does not was not make it. But if I'm being honest with you, John, if I'm being real, the one call that I still question to this day, last Sunday, Buffalo Bills taking on the San Francisco 49ers, right? Buffalo Bills taking on the San Francisco 49ers. I don't remember the whole dynamic of the play, but it is 10-3. It is a fourth down call. Snow is falling. Christian McCaffrey gets the ball. Looked like a first down. They're like, oh, no, he's short. Turnover on down. So that cost him the game. I'm just trolling. James Frank says, how about the man Jadarius Smith? I'm glad the man's balling up there in Detroit. Listen, Jadarius Smith was a player that the Detroit Lions needed. Jadarius Smith was a guy that the Detroit Lions needed. When Aiden Hutchinson went down in week 5, week 6, whatever it was, to the Dallas Cowboys, to that broken leg, I sat here on Man Hour and I said they need to add an edge rusher now or the Super Bowl hopes are going to be diminished, right? I tricked you guys into saying the Super Bowl hopes are all gone now that Aiden Hutchinson is over, which is not really clickbait because if you wouldn't have added Jadarius Smith, the pass rush would not be as effective as it was last night. Granted, they did blitz a lot, right? The first half, it seemed like they were sending 5-6 guys every play. Jordan Love had no time whatsoever. But if you did not have Jadarius Smith on that other side, that pass rush, even with the blitz, may have not have got there. And I know Jay and Kevin and other people that have been, loyal followers of the Man Hour so far this NFL season, next man up, next man up, next man up. And yes, you are correct, next man up. But it is nice to have the next man up as a starter, not a third-string player. I'm just saying. But yeah, Jadarius Smith is balling. He is having a great time up there in Detroit. And honestly, it would not shock me one bit if you see him sign a long-term deal. And think about that. Adrian Hutchinson back 100%, killing it with Jadarius Smith. Woo! Plus a healthy Malcolm Rodriguez and Jack Campbell. Maybe Jamal Adams can shine a little bit next year too. Just add that depth. The Detroit Lions looking like they got a pretty good team for the next couple, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons. I don't know. Jim Powell says that elbow to the head was like, hey, how you doing 40 years ago? Yeah, man, who was it? Was it Lawrence Taylor for the Giants? I want to say it was I don't know. It was the Buffalo Bills. And he comes just, well, whack. You know, the ball is clear as day, like out like 10 seconds. And he's like, well, whack. No flag, no nothing, right? It was crazy. My man Josh Olson's in the chat today too. What's up, Josh? He says Dan Campbell and Zach Taylor are the most aggressive play callers in the NFL. Oof. Not wrong. Not wrong. When we start talking about the Super Bowl here and a little bit for you, Josh, I got a little bit of stats for Dan Campbell. Got a little stats. James Frank says Jamal Adams in Detroit. How did I not put 1 and 2 together? That was him. Honestly, James, because everybody forgot about him, right? He got cut by the Titans like week 3 or week 4, right? He was just kind of just floating around in the wind. Nobody was really talking about him. He was not a radar on like anybody. And then I want to say it was like Monday or Tuesday, they signed him to the practice squad. He was elevated on Tuesday to like pray, and Wednesday he was like, boom, you were in there. It's like damn. Yeah, it's crazy. Dude, you are the man. David, let's do it. Do we have a bet? I'm assuming yes. All right. Jim Powell says the only thing the Chargers are winning is that coin toss. Maybe. But then James says, David, I'm taking the Chargers too. You can buy them a Chargers hoodie at Walmart for $9.99. Oh, my man Alpha Rob's in the chat today too. He says, I hate the Chiefs. I hate the Chiefs, says Alpha Rob. Who doesn't hate the Chiefs, right? Even if you're a Chiefs fan, you hate the Chiefs, like at the particular point, Alpha Rob. Let's just be honest. You hate the Chiefs because you're a Buffalo Bills fan. I hate the Chiefs because I'm a Chiefs fan and they're pissing me off. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, screw the Steelers, says James and Juju Jr. Don't flip on this. What a homer. I'm not a homer. Get out of here. Get out of here. All right, guys, let's get... one more people. Welcome to the chat. Casey Morgan, Pinscape on it as well to the chat. What's up, Casey? He says, what's really sad, the roster for the Chiefs versus Chargers is the healthiest the Chiefs roster has been all season long. That's what makes the Kansas City Chiefs so dangerous, baby. They are 11-1. They are playing some of the worst football of their this season, but yet they keep winning. They keep winning. They keep getting better. They keep getting healthier. That's why a 3-peat is coming, Casey. That's why a 3-peat's coming, Laura. That's why a 3-peat's coming, Alpha Rob. It's coming. Don't be hating on the Chiefs. It's coming, Jim. Jim says Chiefs fans don't hate Chiefs, especially before 2019 when there were no Chiefs fans. Hey, I was a Chiefs fan in 2019. I was a Chiefs fan when we brought Matt Castle down to save our franchise. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Hey, they're healthy and they'll score 21. Hey, when the defense only gives up 16 points a game, Alpha Rob, that's a dub, baby. That is a dub. That is a dub. That is a dub. Debunk the Junk One says, I really want the Lions to rest the team anyways. It's a good matchup and want to be the division title and then bye. If the Falcons win Sunday, you might see it. Well, let's talk about those Detroit Lions. They're Debunk the Junk One. Let's talk about those Detroit Lions. Casey, Jim, John, all the people out there that are watching on Facebook.com and, of course, YouTube.com. Guys, we are live every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. East Coast time, right here on the platform that you are listening to it on right now. But Dan Campbell, fourth down man himself. Dan Campbell, Mr. Risk It No Biscuit himself. Dan Campbell, Mr. I am going to live and die by this sword. They won last night. The Detroit Lions with a huge win over the Green Bay Packers on Thursday night. They now have an 80% chance to get the NFC top seed and to win the NFC North. Sorry, Laura, only 15% for your Minnesota Vikings. It is what it is. But in the process, the Lions went for it on fourth down 5 times. 4 of those 5 times, they got it on fourth down. 2 of them, they scored tutties. It was beautiful play card. It was so magical to see Jahmyr Gibbs run that out route into the in route. We call it a little Z route here on my level. And bada bing, bada boom, he was wide open. It was beautiful. And then old Tim, what was his face, wide open, sit there in the end zone. Oh, it was beautiful. They got beauty, right? But on the fourth down, it was 4th and 3? Ball on their own 30. So they had 60, 70 yards to go still. It was midway through the third quarter. Dan Campbell said, hold my beer. We're going to go for it again. Packers like, ha, ha, ha. We're going to stack the middle. That little quarterback sneak is gone. We're going to give it to Montgomery. Montgomery, you're going to get tackled for a 3-yard loss. That is when I posted, when I tweeted. I said, hey, Dan Campbell, you're going to lose the Super Bowl if you keep making plays like this. 80% of the comments were in agreements of me. Those other 20% of the comments said, hey, I was a hater, I was a homer, I was this, whatever, right? So I got to ask you guys this question. Will Dan Campbell cost the Detroit Lions a Super Bowl making calls like this if he does it in the playoffs and in the future? Meaning all of these fourth down play calls. Yes, he was 4 or 5 last night. Yes, he did score 2 tutties on fourth down last night. But the NFL average going for it on fourth down, you are only successful 51% of the time. In his coaching tenure, Dan Campbell is 66 for 125, which equals a 53% fourth down completion percentage, or it's a success rate of 53%. Now, I understand Dan Campbell has been coaching like this his whole career. When the Detroit Lions were 3-13, he was going for it on fourth down. When the Detroit Lions are 13-3, he's going to be going for it on fourth down. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. But we saw it last year. In big moments, in big games, he doesn't understand the no risk it, no biscuit. Like, hey, sometimes just take the points and walk away. Sometimes just punt the ball away and let your defense eat. Let's just be honest. The Detroit Lions defense is one of the best defenses in the NFL. I understand they're only ranked 18th overall. I understand that they're 15th in like red zone scoring. I understand that they are 13th in run stoppage. But my eyes tell me that the Detroit Lions defense is pretty freaking good. Nice little plug-and-play system. I was actually listening to, I do not forget the linebackers coach's name, but it was the Detroit Lions linebacking coach. I was watching his presser talking to his people this morning. I believe it was, and he says the reason why we are so successful. He was talking to the Detroit News. He says the reason why we are so successful is because we don't treat people like backups. We don't treat people like third strings. We don't treat people like practice squad players. We treat like everybody is going to be starting that particular game. And that resonated with me because I am sitting here, not a state championship head coach yet again, not a college playoff bound coach yet again, because I do not coach my players like that. I do not prepare my whole team as if they're going to start on Friday or Saturday afternoons. Detroit Lions defense do. Aaron Glenn's does. That whole organization does. That is why they have the best defense in the NFL. Stats are lying to you here. The rankings are lying to you here. Those are all just talking points. Use your freaking eyes. They're a pretty good team. Pretty damn good defense. So why doesn't Dan Campbell trust that defense to go out there and win you games? Why doesn't Dan Campbell trust that defense to say, hey, we are on our own 30. We are 4th and 2. Yes, it is halfway through the third quarter. Why not punt it away? And on the flip side of that, they turned the ball over. The Green Bay Packers just drove the ball down to start the second half, pretty much untouched. Turn the ball over. They get the ball back 3 plays later. Bada bing, bada boom. 14 points in 4 minutes. 14 points in 4 minutes. Not only did you lose the lead, you gave the Green Bay Packers the momentum. You gave the Green Bay Packers the lead. And now all of a sudden your offense looked a little shell-shocked. I'm just going to call it the way I saw it. Looked a little shell-shocked. So the question is, guys, will Dan Campbell coaching like this cost him a Super Bowl at some point? Last year, it did. Last year, I truly believe that if he wouldn't have gone for it on fourth down, versus San Francisco 49ers, they would have went to the Super Bowl last year and they would have beat the Kansas City Chiefs and there would have been no back-to-back. Let's just call it how it is. There would have been no back-to-back. There would have been no process of a three-peat because the Detroit Lions would have won last season if Dan Campbell wouldn't have gone on fourth down versus the San Francisco 49ers. Somebody needs to be in his ear saying, hey, I understand we go for it a lot. I understand we have a 53% success rate and the league average is 51. But we still have a 47% chance of not getting it. We still have a 47% chance of turning the ball over. We still have a 47% chance of giving the Green Bay Packers a go-ahead touchdown. If that happens in the playoffs, granted, the outcome is everything, right? The outcome is everything. If Dan Campbell would have got that first down on 4th and 3 on their own 30, we would have been saying, oh, he is great. Applaud him, right? But we're sitting here questioning. I am questioning either way. Why are you doing that? Me, as a younger coach, I was with you, Dan Campbell. I was going for it on 4th down every time because I did not trust my defense. You guys have built a great defense. Trust the defense. So I'm asking you guys in the comments below, is this risk it, no biscuit, die by the sword, whatever cliche you want to call it, is this going to come back and bite them in the ass in the playoffs yet again? Is this going to come back and bite them in the ass when they play the Buffalo Bills on next Sunday? Is this going to come back and bite them in the ass when they're playing the Green Bay Packers for the 3rd time in the divisional round and this is the same situation? It's going to come back and bite them in the ass. And I'm going to say yes, it is. It is going to come back and bite you in the ass. Now, I do understand, I believe it was his press conference after the game, and honestly, he gave one of the best answers I have ever heard. Is like, look, this situation, I went for it. Maybe next time I won't. And honestly, I don't think he knows or he thinks it ahead or whatever. He just like, gut feeling, boom, let's go for it, right? Fuck it. And it is crazy to me. But what do you guys think? Is it going to cost him? James Strang says, Buck, you are a real Chiefs fan. I only know 2 real Chiefs fans other than you. All the other ones I have see are Brady jerseys hanging in their closet, a.k.a. Hoffy. Debunk the Junk says the pitch was a bad call. And Debunk the Junk, if we're referring to the 4th down call on the 30-yard line in the first part of the 3rd quarter, that was not a bad call. It was not a bad call because the Green Bay Packers had both A gaps filled and both B gaps filled, and they had linebackers stepping up. They were not going to let Jared Goff sneak it. They were not going to let Montgomery beat them with their legs, right? They were taking away that middle run. You are not going to beat us up the middle. No way, no how. That pitch, that handoff, whatever you want to call it, I think it was a pitch actually, right? That was the only call that would have been somewhat successful. What you could have done was pull to Jameis Winston. Fucking jump off sides. Come on, jump off sides, please do it. And then call a timeout. That would have been the proper call. But the pitch was not a bad call. Jared Goff checked it to the correct play call. It's just the Green Bay Packers played better on that particular play. It is what it is. John says half of his closet likes Dallas too. I broke up with Dallas, John. I broke up with him. Broke up with him to him. Alpha Rob says it's going to cost him in 2 weeks. It is going to cost him when the Buffalo Bills come into town and whoop that ass, baby. I have that game circled, Alpha Rob. I am excited to watch that game. I'm excited to see if both teams are live up to the hype, right? Because it seems like every time we have this big hype, let's say, I don't know, Eagles versus Commanders, right? One team kind of shits the bed. Chiefs versus Bills. Chiefs kind of shit the bed. Raiders versus Chiefs. Chiefs kind of shit the bed again, right? It just there always seems to be that one team that kind of doesn't get quite up. And honestly, with the Buffalo Bills having a playoff spot locked up, with the Detroit Lions having a playoff division locked up, we might just see a vanilla defense and vanilla offense. It might be a boring game. I'm just saying. John says, who won the game? Asking for a nation. The Detroit Lions won that game. 100%. The Detroit Lions won that game. They gave up a 10-point lead, boom, 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 in 4 minutes in the 3rd quarter. They were kind of shell-shocked, like, oh, crap, what just happened? And I believe the offense punted the ball away the next play. But then after that offense was right back clicking, right back mojoing, and the defense did step up a little bit. They kind of were shell-shocked too, like, whoa, shit, what just happened? But they bounced right back. The Detroit Lions definitely won that game. Definitely won that game. John says, I thought you divorced him. I did. I broke up with the Dallas Cowboys. They out of here. David says, no, the team can execute. They'll be just fine. And I believe I was listening to the facility this morning about this. It is, who was the NFL lineman on ESPN before it was cool to be a old NFL player to be on ESPN? Mark Schlereth, right? Mark Schlereth, I like what he says because I know that he is talking real to you, right? And he said, and I don't have the quote in front of me, I'm kind of going to paraphrase a little bit, but he said basically, if a team gets in their mind like, hey, we're going to go for it on fourth down more times than not, they are going to mentally prepare themselves to go for it on fourth down over and over and over again. And that just gives the offense a little bit of a mental edge because now the defense knows they have to execute perfectly on second and third down because if it's fourth and short, they're going to go for it, right? It is what it is. Casey says a lot of sportscasters are blaming the Gling, blaming his Gling to cost him a playoff game off of his play calling. I think, me personally, I think when you get into nut crunch time, a lot of coaches change what they've done, right? So, for example, when I was a second-year head coach here at the high school, we were in a semi-state game. All year long, I'm going for it on fourth down. Boom, fuck it, fourth down. We were 11-0. All of a sudden, I'm like thinking in the back of my head, start second-guessing myself, oh, we better punt it. We haven't punted all season long. We practice punt one time a day on Thursdays in our walkthrough. Fumble the snap, goes over our head, and we lose the game. So they are going to execute, and they're going to be just fine. John says, Trident made millions on being 4th and 5 out. What? Debunk the Junk says they're 25th in pass defense. It's the reason why their pass defense is so low is because when you jump out on the Jaguars 40-0, when you jump out on the Tennessee Titans 35-7, when you jump out on the what other team did they blow out? Like when you blow out those teams by 30, 40, 50 points, they're going to throw the ball a lot. Right? Didn't Will Levis have like 57 pass attempts against the Detroit Lions? When you don't rush the ball against them and it's all pass, your defensive pass yards are going to go down. So like I said, the stats are not telling the truth about the Detroit Lions defense. They have a pretty good defense. I'm just saying. John says, scorn a woman's mentality, though. What? I don't know what that means. Jay says, never change Dan Campbell. We love you as you are. Go for it, baby. So, Jay, let me ask you this question. You obviously are a diehard Detroit Lions fan. You are in tune with the inner workings of the Detroit Lions. You are an insider. You are a writer. You do a lot with the Detroit Lions. I don't know how long you've been doing it, but you seem to have a pulse on this team. Now, I understand that the fair weather fans, right? Call it what you want, but the fair weather fans, if Dan Campbell, let's say this. Let's put this scenario out there. It is 4th and 2. 4th and 2 in the divisional playoff game. You are playing the Green Bay Packers. You are on your own 40-yard line in the start of the third quarter. You are up 21-7. You go for it. The Green Bay Packers stuff it. They go down and they get a touchdown the very next play. It is 21-14. And then all of a sudden the Green Bay Packers start boom, 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 right? Run up the scoring. 35-21 is the final. All pointed to that one fourth down play. All pointed to why didn't you just punt it away? Why don't you try to draw them offsides? Why do you know this? Do you think then the risk it, no biscuit Dan Campbell starts getting a reality check? Do you think then the fans start to kind of turn their heads and like, why didn't you do it, bud? Why didn't you do it? I mean, obviously here on Monday, on Man Hour, we're going to be like, this is why it happened. I told you this, right? I told you it was going to happen. The no risk it, no biscuit, I told you so, right? And I'm going to make sure you know it, that I told you so. Do you then start to say, maybe you shouldn't go for it as often as you should? Maybe we should start looking at the gut feeling a little bit. Maybe your gut's just a little bit off. I'm just saying. I'm just speaking from experience, right? Jay says, not about the trust. If you can win it, then go for it. True. John says, you all witnessing the Kansas City shake because they're scared. What are we scared of? Scared of not making it to the Super Bowl again? James Frank says he does trust them. He went for it on their own 30. Dan Campbell was just a huge pair of nuts. You can have the biggest nuts in the world, but sometimes, James, you got to have a little bit of common sense. Sometimes you got to look at it like, man, it is 4th and 3. We do have a 10-point lead. We are on our own 30-yard line. Common sense tell me maybe we should just play to live another day. Maybe he can have the biggest nuts in the world. He probably does. I wouldn't have called it. I'm just saying. I would have shit down my leg like, punt it away. Defense, do your thing. Maybe he's just not all there in the head case. You all complain about me having CTE and concussion and all this other stuff. Maybe just maybe he has the same thing. I'm just saying. Debunk the Junk One says because Love started carving up that secondary in the fourth quarter. He's a good quarterback, just sucked in the first half. That does not question the fourth down play in the third quarter. I don't care if Jordan Love was carving up all game. Still had at that point was a 4-point lead, right? Why go for it? I don't know. But yeah, Jordan Love did have a pretty decent second half, and that's ultimately why they went for it on 4th and 1, right? They didn't want Jordan Love to have 30-some-odd seconds left, but it is what it is. Casey says, there is a team in the league that you can't just play safe with 1-point lead. They're playing aggressive not to leave room for the moments when they have to play the Bills or the Chiefs in 13 seconds, for example. True. Josh Olsen says, points allowed on the defense is only a metric that matters. Chargers are number 1. Eagles are number 2. Lions are number 3. Vikings are number 4. Steelers and Chiefs and Broncos are in the top 10 points allowed on defense. Josh, you are correct to an extent, right? You are correct to an extent, right? You can make every stat fit your narrative, right? That's what, do you guys remember, I was probably 12 or 13, and there was a show on ESPN called Numbers Never Lie. So they would bring up the stats and say, numbers never lie, but then I believe it was Callan Callherd, or however you say his name, he would take that stats and he would spin it around and fit his narrative, right? I love that show. I don't ever know why it didn't last very, very, very long, but the numbers do lie to you. You can make every number fit your narrative, whether it's positive, whether it's negative. If I wanted to talk down on the Detroit Lions, I would bring up, debunk the Junk One? I would take his 25th passing yard stat. They're ranked 25th in passing. They're obviously can't stop the pass. Well, when teams pass 60 times on you, they're going to get some yardage, right? Numbers lie to you. But I do agree with you to an extent that points allowed on defense is a metric that you can really measure. I will give you that. Mark D says, yes, it's going to bite them in the ass. It is. John says he turned you into a hater. Who turned me into a hater? This is all me, baby. Live, raw, uncut. Jonas Howard, what's up, man? He says Detroit live or die with the gambler Dan Campbell. It will not cost him in the playoffs this season. But what if it does? That's the real question. People keep saying, yeah, it won't. Yeah, it won't. Yeah, it won't. But what if it does? What if it does cost them? That's the big question. Laura Johnson says yes, possibly because other teams are catching on to his play styling, I believe. He plays smart, but not smart. I mean, there are only so many fourth down plays you have in your playbook. There's only so many two-point conversions plays you have in your playbook, right? When I prepare for a football week, on Monday, I bring to the table 10 fourth down plays and 5 two-point conversion plays. On Tuesday, that normally gets whittled down to about 5 on each side. Come Wednesday, we're down to about our 4 fourth down plays and our 2 or 3 two-point conversion plays. On Thursday, we're executing those plays, making sure we're doing it perfectly, right? The NFL is probably the same way. They probably have 50 fourth down plays and 30 two-point plays, but they narrow it down. They chop it from 50 to 25 to 10 to 15 to like, hey, here's our 5 plays that we have for two-point conversions this week. Let's execute it. Let's get it right. I mean, I'm not trying to call anybody dumb, ignorant, retarded, whatever. I used to do that way back in the day, but I have turned over the new leaf, and I've been trying to nip that in the butt in our comment section. Like, don't be calling people retarded. That's just dumb, right? Everybody's educated in their own mind. I can start talking computer shit to you guys here, and 90% of the people here will be like, "Oh, I bet you're ignorant. Like, well, Dan Campbell is a good coach. He's a good motivator. I don't know who calls the offensive plays. I'm assuming it's Ben Johnson that calls the plays, and Dan Campbell is just the overall seer, the overall let's go for it. Yes, I like that. But yes, you can only have so many plays. I think that's what we're kind of getting, right? Mark D says, no, I thought that was during the playoff game last year. I don't know what you guys are talking about. James Frank says, that's going to be a great day in football. Saquon run the ball over Pittsburgh all day long. Slow it down, baby. John says, quick clinging your pearls to Campbell's Coach of the Year. We talked about Coach of the Year. And I said Dan Campbell probably will not get it because people expected the Detroit Lions to be good. He is probably not going to get it because they expected him to win the North. They expected them to make it to the Super Bowl. They expected them to be maybe not 12-1, right? But 10-3 or whatever. They expected them to be there. There's a different coach out there that's going to win Coach of the Year. Mike Tomlin is probably going to win Coach of the Year. Let's just be honest. Or freaking Sean Payton. Nobody expecting them to be there at all. Let's just be honest. James is like, I dislike Cow Turd. Listen, back then, he was more like trolling, right? He was a troll before trolls were troll. I'm just saying. Casey says, has anyone found out about the Bears timeout? I believe they found it on Facebook Marketplace. I shared your post, Casey. It was freaking awesome. Freaking awesome. But guys, that is the question. Will Dan Campbell blow the Super Bowl chances for the Detroit Lions by a fourth down call? But there's another team that was on the other receiving side of that blowing referee call, of the fourth down conversions, of a team that just kind of looked outplayed in the first half, and that was the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers did blow a lead versus the Detroit Lions last night. They had a 4-point lead. Actually, yeah, they had a 4-point lead, and then they just kept going back and forth. Ultimately end up losing the game on a controversial referee call. If you guys want to know what the call was, go back to the very first minute of today's show on Mike's Thoughts, and I'll explain it to you there. But the Green Bay Packers now, guys, have 4 losses on the season. 4 losses on the season. They have a combined loss by a combined 20 points. They have 5-point loss to the Eagles on week number 1, 2-point loss to the Minnesota Vikings, 10-point loss to the Detroit Lions a couple weeks ago, and then a 3-point loss to the Detroit Lions last night. Of those 3 teams, they are top 4 in the NFC. Let's just be honest. Eagles, Lions 1 and 2. Vikings are probably number 4, maybe even number 3. Top 3 teams in the NFC right now. So the Packers' losses this season are to the top 3 teams in the NFC. So the question that I want to propose is, can the Green Bay Packers legitimately make a Super Bowl run? Can the Green Bay Packers go out there and run the table from here on out and make it to the Super Bowl? When you look at the Green Bay Packers' remaining schedule, it's not easy, but it's not that tough either. They play the Seahawks, a very winnable game. They play the Saints, a very winnable game. They play the Vikings, going to be a dogfight. Let's just call it how it is. The Vikings are playing some good football right now. And then they end the season playing the Chicago Bears. So I probably see one loss left in them this season, making it an 11-5 season. With that being said, I think 11-5 will get them 6 in the playoffs. In the NFC playoffs, that will get you 6th seed. I think the Vikings end up in 5th seed with 12 wins. But let's say the playoffs start today. Let's say the NFL playoffs start December 6th at 10:15 p.m. on the East Coast time. Green Bay Packers would be the 6th seed, playing the 3 seed, the Seattle Seahawks. They probably beat the Seahawks. Let's just be honest. They probably go in there and they beat the Seahawks yet again, sweeping the Seahawks this season, beating them week 15 and beating them in the wild card round. Ooh, baby, right? Now let's say they don't play the Seahawks. Let's say they play they play the Arizona Cardinals. Let's say the Arizona Cardinals jump up there in the 3rd seed and win the NFC West. They're going to beat the Arizona Cardinals. Let's say somehow, some way, the Falcons jump up into the 3rd seed. They win the South and they stop sucking. They get the 3rd seed. The Green Bay Packers probably beat the Atlanta Falcons too. Actually, no, they beat the Atlanta Falcons. The only team that I'm worried about, the Green Bay Packers in the 1st round, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a team that nobody in the NFC wants to play, especially the Detroit Lions, especially the Philadelphia Eagles. They don't want to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers again. They just don't. So let's say the playoffs were to start today. Seahawks versus Packers, round 1. Packers win that game. Let's say everything holds face there, right? Everything holds face. So let's say the Commanders get beat by the number 2 seed, the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's say the Minnesota Vikings get beat by the Atlanta Falcons in the 4-5 game. Let's say everything holds face. Divisional round, you're looking at the Green Bay Packers taking on the 1 seed and the Detroit Lions. What have I been saying to you guys the last 3 or 4 weeks here? That the hardest thing to do in the NFL is beat a team 3 times. The hardest thing to do in college is beat a team 3 times. The hardest thing to do in the high school ranks is to beat a team 3 times. That's why when the Green Bay Packers play the Detroit Lions in the divisional round in the NFC playoffs, it is going to be a game to watch. It's going to be must-see TV. It would not shock me one freaking bit if Jordan Love goes out there and finally balls out against NFC North teams. I understand this season Jordan Love so far is 1-3 versus NFC North teams. I understand so far this season he has 6 touchdowns to 5 interceptions versus NFC North teams. But you do also have to understand that it's going to be a different animal come playoff. You do have to understand that the Detroit Lions probably may not be playing the last 3 weeks of the NFL season. Let's just call a spade a spade. They're going to rest week 18. They got a bye week. Week 17, they're going to play half of the game. They want to be rested. They're going to be rusty. Guys, it would not shock me one freaking bit at all if the Green Bay Packers make a Super Bowl run. It would not shock me one bit at all if we see the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game. If the Detroit Lions want to make it to the NFC Championship game, their best bet is going to be the number 2 seed. Because you don't want to play the Green Bay Packers in the divisional round. I'm just saying, you do not want to play the Green Bay Packers in the divisional round. Give yourself a chance. Give yourself a little bit of confidence. Give that game to wreck in there, right? Guys, the Green Bay Packers are a 100% Super Bowl caliber team. The Green Bay Packers are a 100% threat in the NFC playoffs. The Green Bay Packers, despite what we saw last night, despite them losing to the Detroit Lions twice now, despite them losing to the Minnesota Vikings, despite them losing to the Philadelphia Eagles, they are a team you do not want to play in the NFC playoffs. So, guys, can the Green Bay Packers make a Super Bowl run? Will the Green Bay Packers make a Super Bowl run? I'm saying they can, and they'll definitely make it to the NFC Championship game. I think they are an NFC Championship game caliber team. Now, pending who they play in the first round, obviously, if it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it might be a one and done. I'm just saying, nobody wants to play the Buccaneers. But as long as the Buccaneers are on the outside looking in or in the wild card thing, Green Bay are going to be A-okay, baby. They're going to be A-okay. So what do you guys think? Can the Green Bay Packers make a Super Bowl run? Henry Gray, what's up, man? He says, not happening. He says, FTP. I believe that means F the Packers. I think that's what people are like saying. And John is saying FTC. I guess that means F the Chiefs. I don't know. I'm just saying. Levi Nay says the Lions suck. Levi, slow it down, baby. Slow it down, baby. Josh Olsen says the Packers are a very dangerous team. I still have them number 4 in my power rankings. And honestly, Josh, they were 5th in my power rankings, right? No, did they break the top 4? No, yeah, they were 5th. They were 5th in my power rankings. And pending on how this week's goes, they might slide up. Even though they lost, 3-point loss to the Detroit Lions, they might slide up. You never know. You never know. That's why you guys tune in Tuesday. Tuesday. Henry Gray, just read this Easy's voice. Easy E. Good Lord. Flashback. Casey says, I can see the Green Bay Packers giving an upset in the playoffs, but not making it to the big game. So, Casey, are you seeing them as because they're going to be a wild card game, right? They are going to be a wild card team, 5, 6, 7 seed. More than likely going to be a 6 seed. More than likely they're going to play the winner of the NFC West, whether it's the Seahawks, whether it's the Cardinals, whether it's the Rams, whether the 49ers come out of the dust, right? It's going to be one of those teams, more than likely. Would that be considered an upset? Would that be considered an upset? 11-6 Green Bay Packers, or it'd be 12-5 Green Bay Packers playing a 9-8 Seattle team. Would that be considered an upset? Or is your upset in the divisional round when they play either the Eagles or the Lions in that divisional round? Would that be your upset? Where does the upset consider? What do you guys say is an upset? Is it the seeding aspect? Does a 5 beat a 4? Is that an upset? 7 versus a 2? Is that an upset? I'm just curious. What do you guys consider an upset? James Frank says Baker and the Bucks are 2-0 versus Philly and Detroit. Baker Dangerfield. And it's the defense that gives the Lions and the Eagles fits. It's that defense. I'm just saying. John says the Falcons will not get the number 3 seed. And I'm probably with you on that, John. But I'm just speaking how the facts are. And the facts are, if the playoffs were to start today, the Falcons are the 3rd seed as of right now. So I'm just saying. Henry Gray says, not when Dan Campbell owns the Pack fucks. Listen, Henry, thank you for joining us here, man. I definitely appreciate you. You are a new name. I really like that picture. I might have to steal that and post it somewhere. I love the glowing of the Detroit Lion there. But beating a team 3 times is tough, baby. Beating a team twice in the NFL season is tough. Hell, beating a team once in the NFL season is tough. I'm just saying. Do not be sleeping on the Green Bay Packers. Don't be sleeping on them, Henry. Don't be Henry. Don't be sleeping on Henry, I should say. John says the hardest thing to do is to win 3 Super Bowls too. You are exactly right, John. You are exactly right. And that is why me as a Chiefs fan, I am not predicting them to go to the Super Bowl because it is tough to even get there, let alone win 1 or 2 or 3 of them. It would not shock me if they're a 2nd round exit to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm just saying. Just saying. Don't shoot the messenger. Josh Olsen says this time, if the Eagles play the Bucs in the playoffs, the Eagles will mop them up. As of right now, yes, they would. If they were to play right now, the Eagles are beating everybody. They're beating the Detroit Lions right now. If they were to play Week 14 right now, the Eagles are beating everyone. That's why they're number one in my power rankings. But the playoffs do not start right now. But the playoffs start 4 or 5 weeks away. A lot of things can happen. That is what is so awesome about the NFL is literally we are talking about how great the Baltimore Ravens are. 5-game winning streak. MVP Lamar Jackson. Balling out. Look out, Super Bowl. Here we come. Now, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, are they even going to make the playoffs? Lamar Jackson lost his MVP. Derrick Henry over the hill already. This is what is so exciting about the NFL is from week to week, literally everything can change. The Carolina Panthers were out for dead. Tank mode. Are they winning a game? Sit Bryce Young, trade the man. Get him out of there. Andy Dalton goes into Las Vegas, whoops the Raiders' asses. They come back down to reality, suck a little bit. He gets in a car wreck, breaks his arm, whatever he does. Insert Bryce Young. Bada bing, bada boom. All of a sudden, the Carolina Panthers are a team that, okay. You should have beat the Bucs. You should have beat the Chiefs. You already had a 2-game winning streak. Oh, wow, slow it down, baby. That is why I love the NFL. That's why I love watching the NFL. Some days, let's say it's a Wednesday afternoon and it is a slow day at work. I have a big 80-inch TV on my wall. What do? I go to NFL Sunday Ticket and I just pick a random game. Let me watch it. Because literally, you see the change from first quarter to second quarter to fourth quarter. You can just see the emotion of a roller coaster, and I love it. I love football. I love it. Casey says the Bucs kind of faded out, was rooting for them at the start of the season. So the reason why the Bucs faded out was because Chris Godwin goes down, out for the season. I believe the very next week, Mike Evans goes down, out for 4 weeks, 3 weeks plus the bye week. Now they're back. Mike Evans is back. They found Otton, right? Is it Chris Otton? Found a little diamond in the rough. Defense is getting a little healthy, right? They coming back. It's the roller coaster of emotion. That's why football is so awesome. So awesome. Love it. Real ball talk with Billy Jack's back in the chat. Hey, this man owes us push-ups, Hoffy. Where's he at? Billy Jack, don't you owe us some push-ups, my man? You kind of ghosted us. But he says facts. A couple calls, couple no calls, go the other way. They beat the Lions. And honestly, a real ball talk with Willie Jack. This loss is a blessing in disguise for the Green Bay Packers. This loss might be the little bit of awakening that they needed. We spoke on it earlier this week. Does a team need to lose? Is a loss a good loss, right? And people were ridiculing me in my comments like, "Oh, you said the Detroit Lions need to lose. How is this aging? Whatever." First of all, that's the dumbest thing ever. This aged well. Like, come on, that's stupid. Whatever. But I did say that the Detroit Lions need to lose moving forward. I think they need a reset moving forward. Maybe the reset was a narrow victory versus the Green Bay Packers. Maybe this loss for the Green Bay Packers to the Detroit Lions is the reset that they needed to make a nice little push. You see, people are consistently playing checkers, right? You are consistently playing checkers, and you're not even playing checkers good. You see the black guys over there, they set you up. They put their pawn out there for you to jump. Oh, that's easy jump. Boom. That's my money. And then all of a sudden they're boom, boom, boom. 3 jumps in a row. You're like, what? Well, what just happened? You have to be playing checks while playing checkers. That's just what it is. And David says, slow it down, baby. Green Bay Packers are not going anywhere, David. He says. David says, slow it down, baby, on Green Bay. David, no. I can't slow it down on Green Bay. I've liked Green Bay Packers the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Yes, I understand they were on a 7 out of an 8-game winning streak, and now they're 7 of 9. And like I get it, but ever since that bye week, ever since Jordan Love come back healthy, the week after they lost to the Detroit Lions, the last 3 or 4 weeks, they've been playing some good football. You cannot deny it. That is why I love doing the man hour, because when you see it, you can start boasting it up. Boast it up. And Laura says, no, slow it down, baby. The cheese heads aren't going nowhere. Cheese heads are not going. Come on now. John says, hang on. About to drop some Dilotti in my, I don't know what that is. Dilaudid, and I want to hallucinate. What? I'm not hallucinating. Henry Gray says we suck at losing, meaning the Detroit Lions. Yeah, you guys don't lose very, 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 very well. I'm just saying. Y'all don't lose very well. Debunk the Junk says the Lions go for it on 4th in their own end, the Green Bay end of the game. That DC is when we win the go for it. I hope so. Landon Hockey 74 says, what about the Commanders? Oh, Landon. The Commanders are a one and done. The Commanders are false. They're, what is Mark D say? Fugazi? Trying to be all Italian and be like, Fugazi. Nobody cares about your 80s grunge band. The Commanders are one and done. Commanders aren't going nowhere. The Commanders may not even make the playoffs, Landon. Look out for the Dallas Cowboys, baby. Actually, look out for the Chicago Bears. We're talking about the Chicago Bears coming up in Factor Crap. Slow it down. Real Ball Talk with Willie Jack says, they're too good to be an upset to anyone. How can you be too good to upset anyone? But you're probably right. And Henry wants to say, the Green Bay Packers may not even make the playoffs. The Green Bay Packers may lose the rest of their games. The Green Bay Packers may just puke on themselves and miss the playoffs. Well, Henry, they are a 9-win team right now. The only way they can miss the playoffs is if the Chicago Bears win out, winning the last 5 of their games, right? And they do have the strength of schedule tiebreaker or some crazy just like that. But the Saints have to win out. 49ers have to win out. The Bears have to win out. And something else had to happen for them to miss the playoffs. They're in. They're in. Man, I'm way behind on comments. My bad, guys. My bad. Tyler Hilton says, let's go, Chiefs. Let's go, baby. Chiefs Kingdom rise up. Landon says, do you think Washington will make the playoffs? Yes, I do. I do think the Washington Commanders will make the old playoff Aronies, even though they are shitting the bed right now. Henry says, I love just talking crap because I've never been able to do this before. And Henry, keep at it, man. Keep at it. Enjoy the ride. Because at every stretch of the imagination, no matter how good you think your team is going into the next season, it could all be over like just like that. I am a baseball fan. I am obviously a Kansas City Royals fan. This season, what was it like? I don't know. A month, 2 months into the season, we've won like 3 games. Like, this is over, right? But I consistently watch, and I catch games here or there. I don't watch like 9 games a week like Combsy does, but I catch 3 or 4 games a week. All of a sudden, we're making a playoff push, right? It's exciting. We're in the playoffs. Let's go. But I've been with the Kansas City Royals. I've been at the pinnacle. We've won the World Series, and literally the very next year, we're a 100-loss team again. It's crazy. Henry, you being a Detroit fan, I'm sure you're a Detroit Tigers fan too, and you know it. You guys win the World Series, and then you lose the next 8 years, and you all of a sudden, it's enjoy it. Enjoy it. Facts. Any given Sunday, baby. Let's go. Debunk the Junk says Falcons over the Vikings in an upset if the Falcons don't win. Somebody's getting fired. Kirk Cousins is getting fired. Frank Glass is in the chat. What's up, Frank? What's up? Colts Nation for the shoe rides up. I am officially a season ticket holder for the Indianapolis Colts. I'm only like 30 minutes from Indianapolis, so it is what it is. It is what it is. Let me go ahead and keep on scrolling down. Sorry, guys. I got up. There it is. Fugazi. Real Billy Check says, are you from the KC area? Small world. I grew up in Mizzou. M-I-Z-Z-O-U. So, real ball with Willie Jack. I am from a town called Wamego, Kansas. I went to high school in St. George, Kansas, which is, if you're from the area, you know, right? I went to Fort Scott Community College. Went down there. We went 11-1, lost the national championship to Harlan, Texas, my community college year. Went back up to the Kansas State University back home in Manhattan, Kansas. And then after my junior year there, I decided football wasn't for me anymore. I was tired of getting injured. I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to be like a starter, whatever, yada, yada, yada. My defensive coordinator at the time, my assistant defensive coordinator, took a head coaching job in a CFL team. I became a CFL player for 4 years. And then come back, and then I got a job in Kansas City while playing indoor football. So I lived in Kansas City, actually Grandview, Missouri. If you're from KC, you know where Grandview is, home of Josh Freeman. I lived there for 7 years before moving to Indiana. So that's my life story real quick, right? That is my life story here real quick. But guys, let's get into a little bit of fact and a little bit of crap. So every day here now on Man Hour number 2 has come by. We've already talked for an hour and 15 minutes, guys. It is love having you guys interact. This is a live, interactive show. We are live, raw, uncut NFL talk every Monday through Friday. Actually, every Monday through Saturday, because on Tuesdays and Saturday nights, we have the boys. We have the Toxic Roundtable. We got a little bit of Mark D, and then we got a little bit of Hafe, and we talk some shit. We break down the NFL games. But every Monday through Friday, we do a little thing called a little bit of facts and a little bit of crap. So I've been scouring the old interwebs, seeing what the people are talking about, seeing what the sports writers are blogging about, doing this, doing that, and we determine if something is a fact, I agree with it, or it is a crap, right? Fact or crap, that is just the way it is. So the first fact or crap of the day are going to go to these 3 football games in 10 days. There are teams in the NFL this NFL season that played 3 football games in 10 days. One of them was the Detroit Lions. They just played 3 football games in 10 days. The other one is the Green Bay Packers. They played 3 football games in 10 days. We have 4 other teams that are getting ready to do the same thing. The Houston Texans, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Kansas City Chiefs all played 3 games in 10 days. However, the Kansas City Chiefs had their bye week back in week 6 of the NFL season, and these 5 other teams have just had their bye week this week, meaning the Ravens and the Texans. But other teams like the Lions did have their bye week 2-3 weeks before these 3 games in 10 days. So guys, I got to ask the question, is it fact or is it crap? The NFL should never do 3 games in 10 days. So one of the biggest things about the NFL is that player safety, right? It is player safety. We can't hit people in the head because it's not safe. We have to let the quarterback slide because it's safety, right? We cannot hit too hard. The guy has to catch the ball, put 2 feet down, turn at you, blow you a kiss before you can tackle him or hit them too hard because of player safety. But yet here we are playing 3 football games in 10 days. 3 football games in 10 days. Guys, I love football. Just like the other person, just you guys are here. You guys are on the Man Hour NFL Talk with me every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time because we love football. But if we want to play 3 games in 10 days, everybody needs to do it. Make it a fair, level playing field. Make it a nice, fair, level playing field. First of all, I think it is absolutely stupid that we're playing 3 football games in 10 days. It's stupid. It is asinine. Especially for a team like the Detroit Lions that has 18 people on IR as is, and they're like, hey, by the way, you play Sunday, Thursday. Good luck with that. Guys, if you do not think this is a fact, you do not understand how demanding a football game in general is on your body. In high school, in arena, in CFL, in the NFL, in semi-pro, in Sunday afternoon league, in your Turkey Bowl, football is demanding on your body. Hell, there are days right now when I get out of the couch and I look at my foot and I just look at it, it starts hurting. I'm like, what? I just sat up. If the NFL wants to truly be worried about player safety, first of all, stop these Thursday games. Thursday games, stop it. Boom. Out of here, right? Secondly, play on Sundays and Mondays. NFL is Sunday and Mondays. College is Saturdays. High school is Fridays. Hell, college, some of these college teams are playing on Tuesday, then turn around and play on Saturday, then Wednesday next week. Like, stop it. If we're really, truly worried about player safety, stop this 3 football games in 10 days. And if we're really, truly worried about player safety, and if you want to have this Thursday night primetime game, which honestly, last night was awesome. We finally got a good Thursday night game. Normally, Thursday night games suck because players got 3 days rest, bada boom. Vanilla defense, vanilla offense, it freaking sucks, right? If the NFL wants to make their money on Thursday night, have the team have a bye week the week before. It's simple. Have a bye week. No team should even be playing 2 football games in 10 days, let alone 3. So, guys, fact or crap, the NFL should never have 3 football games in 10 days, regardless of the team. Regardless of the day, regardless of this. COVID fucked this up, honestly. Let's just be honest. The vid did this to us. Josh says it's actually 3 games in 11 days. I guess you're right. My bad. My bad. That one extra day may heal you from a sprained ankle a little bit better, right? My bad. It is 3 games in 11 days. For the Kansas City Chiefs, right? They start this stretch on 12-15, and then they play on that Thursday or that Wednesday, and then they play Christmas Day. So it's 12-15 to 25. I was just doing math. It was 10, but you are right. It is 11 days. My bad. My bad. But guys, fact or crap, should the NFL not have 3 games in 11 days? How about that? Real Ball Talk with Billy Back says, fact, too much wear and tear on the body. Facts, baby. Facts. 1 game in 7 days is bad enough. Debunk the Junk One says, facts. Kansas City Chiefs really got screwed. 6th bye week and the late season 10 days and 3 days. Yes. On the bright side, they do get another mini bye week when they do have 10 days off before they play in January, like again, but still. Honestly, Russell Wilson, damn near 40 years old, right? Lamar Jackson, he is predicated of using his legs. CJ Stroud needs to move around because that offensive line is terrible. Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs offensive line sucks. How big a blow, first of all, I do not wish injury on ill will of anybody, just speaking hypothetically here, but what happens if this star matchup, Russell Wilson versus Patrick Mahomes, doesn't happen because somebody's out with a sprained ankle or a strained hammy or a concussion? What happens when we have CJ Stroud taking on Lamar Jackson? Battle of the divisional round from playoffs last year again, rematch, and CJ or Lamar isn't there. All of a sudden, all that sexy that you're trying to sell on Christmas Day is gone because you wanted to play 3 games in 10 days or 11 days. John says it is fact, baby. Preach it, John. Fact. James says fact. I wonder what the injury rate is during these periods. I can tell you that the Detroit Lions added 6 more players to the IR in these 10 days. Usually you don't see a lot more injuries, like new injuries. You just see nagging injuries start to pop up. But Laura says fact. It is definitely a fact. And Judith says fact. No team should be playing 3 games in 10 days. And David says, yes, stop it. Get it out of here. Stop it. And David also says facts. Facts on facts on facts. Let's go. And John says, tell sports betting chondromates it's all about the money. It is all about the money. John, you are exactly right. What runs the world? It is money. I just transferred my 401k into a different 401k because it's all about the money. It's done about the dollar bills, y'all. Sex sells. Football sells. NFL sells. A couple years ago when the NFL fell on Christmas Day, it happened to be a Sunday, and the NFL whacks the floor with the NBA, Roger Goodell's like, Christmas is now a football holiday. Let's own Halloween. Let's own Thanksgiving. Let's own Christmas Day. Let's own New Year's Day. What happens when New Year's Day falls on a Sunday? Of course, we have the college playoffs now, so I don't know how many games are actually going to fall on New Year's Day. But years past, New Year's Day was the Cotton Bowl. New Year's Day was the Fiesta Bowl, the Orange Bowl, all these big BCS bowls, right? What happens when the NFL falls on a Sunday? It's New Year's Day. Roger's like, ha, here we go. Oh, you guys had 3 games in 10 days. How about 4 games in 14 days? Let's do it. But guys, fact or crap. Does the NFL need to stop this? It is a fact. It is a fact. Next up here on the fact or crap edition, hour and a half and 90 minutes into this Man Hour live, raw, uncut today, guys, every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. East Coast time. The New York Football Jets. Yes, I know it is December, and we're talking about the New York Jets. What is going on? What's going on is they are expected to sit some of their star players this weekend. Breece Hall is expected not to play. Garrett Wilson is expected not to play. Sauce Gardner is expected not to play. Not because they're injured, not because they're having season-ending surgeries, not because of concussion, simply because they want to keep them healthy going on to next season. The NBA has a rule that if a healthy player misses a game, that particular team gets fined. I don't know what it is, but they have some type of rule saying, hey, if a player is healthy and he doesn't play, doesn't dress, you are going to get in trouble. Basically because people like myself go to maybe 1 or 2 NBA games a year. If the Cavaliers come into Indianapolis, I want to see LeBron James. If the Oklahoma City player comes in and plays the Pacers, I want to see Shea play. I like you want to see those big name plays, and that's what the NBA is doing. Now, people in the NFL land, right? You maybe go to 1 game a year. Maybe this is your first game ever. Maybe you are all excited to go out there and you want to see Breece Hall play in the New York Jets. The one time you're at MetLife Stadium, you flew him from England and, oh, he's a healthy scratch. So, guys, fact or crap, should the NFL implement a healthy scratch rule like the NBA? And I got to thinking about this because, obviously, there are ways to skew data, right? Aaron Rodgers, for example, he has been on the injury report every day for the last 3 years, right? All of a sudden now he is off the injury report because the rumors of him being benched/cut started to surface. He's like, oh, and then like all of a sudden, like, oh, my thumb's fine, oh, my calf's fine, oh, my hamstring's fine. 3 years he's been on this injury report with the thumb or hamstring, something nagging, but all of a sudden he is healthy, 100% healthy. So let me ask you guys this. Should the NFL implement some type of healthy scratch rule? Should the NFL want to push their stars out on the field, no matter if the team is out of the commission, out of the playoff race in general? I sat back and I thought about this. I thought about this because I have been to an NBA game where the star player did not play. I was looking forward to this game to see said player play, and he's sitting in street clothes smelling like marijuana. I've been to a baseball game when I wanted to see Alex Gordon, right, his farewell tour. I haven't been to a Royals game because I haven't lived in Kansas City in 8 years. They're playing the Cincinnati Reds right down the road from us. Healthy scratch. Played too many days. Should the NFL implement some type of healthy scratch rule? And honestly, guys, I think it's a fact. I think it is a fact that they should. If a player has not been on the injury report all week long, and then all of a sudden, during warm-ups, he pulls a hamstring, what is that crap? Like, come on. Are you really going out there working that hard before the game you pull a hamstring? Come on. Come on. Guys, this is the facts. If the NFL is all about money, if the NFL is not worried about truly player safety, playing 3 games in 10 days, and then all of a sudden Breece Hall can't play because they're worried about his future. Sauce Gardner can't play because they're worried about his future. Like, come on. This is a fact. And John agrees with me. It is a fact. It is a fact. I think it is true. Josh Olson asked the question, which do you think is more difficult? West Coast teams have to play the Eastern time zones at 1 p.m., or teams have to play on Monday Night Football and then playing on a slightly shorter week on Sunday? Whew. So I have never gone from the West Coast to the East Coast. I've gone from the East Coast to the West Coast, and that sucks, right? When I was a Rough Rider, we went all the way. We were Central time zone. Went all the way out West Coast. It's still only 2 hours, but that still messes with your body, right? But usually, from my experience, your coach, your system, your trainers, if they know you're traveling from West Coast to East Coast or East Coast to West Coast, right? And you're playing at that 1 o'clock game, but it's actually 10 o'clock our time, we would move everything back or move everything up. So our bodies would start to adjust that particular week. So you obviously have your schedule out well in advance, right? When we know when we played the 1 o'clock game on the West Coast, it was 3 o'clock in our heads, right? Our coach would move things 2 hours back. So I'm assuming, I do not know this as a fact, but I'm assuming NFL personnel kind of does the same thing. If the 49ers, or let's say the Seattle Seahawks, they travel to like Atlanta, 1 o'clock game. Let's say they normally start practice at noon. They probably moved it up to 9 o'clock. Meetings are now at 8 o'clock. Practice starts at 9 o'clock, right? I would assume that would be the case. I would assume a smart person would do that. Get your body acclimated to waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning instead of 8 o'clock in the morning, right? Anytime you have a day less rest, it messes with the mojo. Our high school program, when the playoffs start, we have a playoff game on Friday night. So we play our Friday night games, and then we turn around and then we play that Tuesday, and then we play that Saturday. And then it's back to every Friday night after that. So we have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to prepare. Still 4 days. But you had that one less day of getting your ankles right. You had that one less day of getting your player back from concussion. You had that one less day of that big old bruise on your forearm to wear out, and so you can start to stretch out the arm again. Anytime you have less rest, that's harder on the body than starting time earlier. So I think it is more difficult to travel, or less difficult to travel, than it is to take a day less. Now, if you're traveling from freaking Seattle to London, F that. F that business. Going over the pond to play football in general, F that business. Going to Brazil, F that business, right? Stupid. Stupid. But let's talk about stupid. Let's talk about the Chicago Bears. Let's talk about the Chicago Bears. Yes, I understand. It is December. Yes, I understand. The Chicago Bears are 4-8. Yes, I understand that the Chicago Bears are out of the playoff race, or are they? Every losing team in the NFL so far this season has a negative point differential besides the Chicago Bears, meaning they are not keeping pace with the teams that are beating with them, right? The Chicago Bears currently have a +1 score differential, even though, despite them being 4-8 this season. They have fired their offensive coordinator. They have fired their head coach in the last 2 weeks, making Thomas Brown Jr. their intern head coach. He goes from passing game coordinator to offensive coordinator to intern head coach. So, guys, fact or crap? If the Chicago Bears make the playoffs, they will be one of the most dangerous teams in the NFC playoffs. So when you look at the Chicago Bears, right now, they're sitting 14th in the NFC playoff race. They're behind the Saints. They're behind the Cowboys. They're behind the 49ers, just to name a few. They have less than a 1% chance to make the playoffs as of today. But there is still a chance. There's still a 1% chance. Now, the Bears can make the playoffs if they do these particular things. The Bears have lost 6 straight games, communicating a locker room of mutiny. Right, their last five opponents have a winning percentage of 70%. They have the second toughest remaining schedule in the league. Obviously, it would take a real psycho like myself to figure out how dead end of the road this is, but there still is a chance. I'm not a Chicago Bears fan, but there is still a chance. So here's how the Chicago Bears can make the playoffs. The Bears right now have a 1% chance to make the playoffs according to the NYT playoff predictor. Pretty low, right? Pretty low, but there still is a chance. The Bears losing to the Commanders, Packers, and Vikings and Lions games in the fashion they did were low odds that happened. So what must happen with this 1% chance to cash in? Obviously, the Bears need to get out and win. They need to go 9-8 on the season. If they beat the 49ers, they cannot be eliminated this weekend no matter what. So step number 1, beating the San Francisco 49ers. Then obviously it gets a little dicier. Then things need to start to pile up. The dominoes need to fall in the right direction. One of these following things need to happen. The Packers need to lose out in their 3 remaining games versus the non-Bears versus the Seahawks, Saints, and Minnesota. Or the Commanders need to lose out to the Saints, Philly, Atlanta, and Dallas. Or the Commanders need to lose 3 of the 4, and one of them have to be the Rams, Seahawks, and 49ers to finish second in the NFC West at a 9-8 record with the conference record of 7-5 or 6-6. Or the Cowboys need to go 4-1, and the Commanders need to lose the rest of 3 of their games, and losing to the Eagles or the Cowboys, which will ultimately eliminate the Commanders as a 3rd team in their division or in the wild card. Next up, they also need the following to happen. At least 3 more losses for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers play the Vegas Raiders, the Chargers, the Cowboys, Carolinas, and Saints. Or 2 NFC losses that the Cowboys finish 9-8 and second in the NFC East. Or the Commanders need to lose out, or the Bucs need to lose twice if the Panthers/Saints, if the Panthers and Saints win out if the Bucs out if the Bears win over the strength of schedule tiebreaker. Guys, I went into this. I went into this, and I really don't want to look at it. But basically, there's a chance. Basically, every team ahead of them needs to lose out, and they need to win out. Basically, what it comes down to. There is a chance. There's a chance. 1%, but there's a chance. But there's such thing as getting hot at the right time. There is such thing as the NFL of getting hot at the right time. And when you look at teams like the Chicago Bears that have lost the way they lost, Hail Mary to the Commanders, forget to call it a timeout versus the Detroit Lions, blocked field goal versus the Green Bay Packers. This is a team that if they get rolling, they can start piling up some wins pretty quickly. New York Giants come to mind. They didn't have to win 4 of their last 5 to get into the playoffs. But I mean, boom, they win the 2nd Super Bowl with Eli Manning. Guys, the most dangerous team in the NFL is a confident team. The most dangerous team in the NFL is a hot team. The most dangerous team in the NFL is a team that is peaking at the right time. And if the Bears make the playoffs, that tells you that they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL. They're peaking at the right time, and they're dangerous. They're confident in themselves. So, guys, fact or crap, if the Chicago Bears make the playoffs, they're the most dangerous team in the NFL. In the NFC playoffs. This is going to be a fact. This is going to be a fact. Not only would they get in out of a 1% odds, they are basically counted out. Let's just be honest. But look who they play. A 70% winning percentage of the teams that they play left. 70%. Think about that. How can you not like that? How can you not like that? John says, and they'll play a spoiler alert against the Packers. No, they won't. Debunk the Junk says the earth would have to split open and swallow about 7 teams for the Bears to make it. It could happen. It could happen. John says crap. Laura says crap. Josh says they won't make the playoffs this season. Next season, they'll be a dangerous team for sure. We've heard this before, Josh. Like, I know it's any given Sunday, next man up, next year this, whatever, yada, yada, yada. I get it, and I love you for it, but come on. Come on. It's the Chicago freaking Bears, baby. This season, this year, Caleb Williams was the baby Buddha. This season, Matt Eberflus was taking him to the moon, baby. This season, that defense was supposed to be top 10. Now, shut him down, let him down. DMX, right? The simple fact of the matter is that the Chicago Bears are the Chicago Bears. Now, if they do make it, I'm going to be riding that train. I'm just going to be honest. If the Chicago Bears win this week for the San Francisco 49ers, they jump into a 5%. And then if the Packers lose, and the Commanders lose, and the Saints lose, and the Cowboys lose, that jumps up to a 10% chance. Every time they win, it gets a little 1% better. Like I tell my kids, 1% better, 1% better, 1% better. That's all it takes, baby. 1% better. But it is crap. It is crap. Even if the Chicago Bears make the playoffs, which they won't, even if they do, they would have to play the Eagles, and the Eagles are whooping that ass. Let's say they get past the Eagles somehow, some way. Then they got to play the Detroit Lions. They probably going to whoop that ass. Oh, you forgot to call your timeout? Well, take them all in the first quarter, baby. Oh, guys, I'm just trolling. It is Friday night, guys. It is 11 o'clock here, p.m. on the East Coast time. We got to get up in 5 hours for basketball. Little man's got some hoops in the morning. Bada bing, bada boom. We got an 8 o'clock game. We got an 11 o'clock game. Why in the world is a 6-year-old playing 3 basketball games on a Saturday? It's not like he's on an AAU team. It's just a little church league. But whatever. I digress. But guys, I am going to get to bed. You guys should too. It's been a great day. Great NFL week. We will not miss another show for the rest of the season, guys. Barring anything going crazy, we are live, raw, uncut every Monday through Friday, actually every Monday through Saturday, 9 p.m. East Coast time. 6 days a week, we live, we raw, we uncut. Become a Pigskin Pundit, guys. Pick on the subscription below. Pigskin Pundit gets you free entry into our NFL Pick'ems, $2,000 NFL Pick'ems. Gets you some free merch. Gets you on the inside of the man juice. And you get some before-the-scenes footage and some little after-hours footage. But if you are a Pigskin Pundit, and if you guys still want some more, we're going to end this main show. We're going to jump on the after-hours show and talk some more shit. Until then, guys, we will see you tomorrow, 9 p.m. East Coast time, live, raw, uncut NFL talk. Let's go. We out.